Not doing that. Good evening, people, and welcome to the Football United TV. This is your host, Anthony Herbert, and this is Gunners from All Corners. Now it's time for that famous intro. Evening, everybody, and welcome to Gunners All Corners. We've got a packed show for you here tonight. We have Luca, and also we have Tony from Tony Claude Gunner TV. How are you, lads? You all right?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Great.
Oh, that's good. Looking forward to this weekend, the games.
Find out.
We'll find out. Exactly. Right. We're going to come to our first topic. First topic is a little bit, is not nice, but obviously it was news today about our centre back who we sent out on loan to Italy, Pablo Mari. He was actually, as it says there, Pablo Mari. He was stabbed in a shopping centre in attack in Italy. He was actually obviously in a supermarket with his wife and his child at the time. It is this. Well, I don't like these events anyway, but this is obviously what's happened. It's a bit disturbing, this news. Obviously, other people therefore got injured. I read today that it was actually 5 people in the attack. Unfortunately, one of them sadly lost their lives. We're going to press condolences on and sad news to their family on the behalf of Football United TV. This distraughting news. We don't understand why it's happened and why it's happening, but it's things like this is obviously it's got to be stopped, in my opinion. It's not nice, especially for a child being there and a child to see it, especially when it's your own father or anyone, as a matter of fact. Basically, I just want to get your views on this nasty, horrible incident. I'm going to start with you, Luca.
Yeah. For me, look. First things first, it's horrible to see someone like that. Like, look. We respect Pablo Mari at Arsenal Football Club, and for me to see an ex-Arsenal player get what's happened is not nice. And for me, like, for those people who actually caused all this should be ashamed for themselves. And for me, like, it's not nice to see a football player actually get stabbed in the shopping centre. It's clearly not. When it was, mate, it's very disturbing because when you're with family, when you're with a child is gonna look into that and always will remember his father, obviously, what happened, and when he grows up. And it is very, very, very disturbing. And for me, like, I want to send my prayers to Pablo Mari and hope he recovers very well. It's good that he's alive. And for the other people who actually, one of the people who actually passed away out of those 5 people, I want to send my condolences and say, may rest in peace. It's very, very upsetting. It's very disturbing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just terrible news, really. But I mean, obviously with Pablo Mari, there was pictures of him Obviously, as I said, he's in hospital. He's laid in the bed, and he had a picture taken with his wife with his arm in a sling. So he's good news on that account. That
But do you think
nothing.
do you think he'll play football again, or do you think he'll retire?
Um,
Because it
Trouble is
could
though, I
affect
mean,
him.
it will affect him. I think it will affect him. I mean, obviously, it went back um with our last Arsenal player, if we remember correctly, he wasn't stabbed, but remember when Özil had that problem,
Yes.
and Krasnat was actually there with him at that time. Obviously, nothing happened severe there, but obviously it was a threat at knife point there. So, but I think things like this is horrible. It needs to be looked into really and stopped. I don't understand why people are going out there and doing it. Is totally wrong. Regarding his football career, maybe he might stay in it. He'll have to take some time off, obviously, to recover. He might even have some help, obviously, to talk, things there to talk through and that sort of thing, But obviously, he's good. He is shaken up at this time, but yeah, we could just wish him a speedy recovery and hopefully get through it as quick as he can and get him back on the pitch playing football. Tony, what's your views on it, mate?
Yeah, and thank you for having me on the show, Anthony. And
Okay,
Luca, of
Tony.
course, it's a honor sitting right next to you again. This is the second time, and hopefully the third time will be on my show very soon. I want to shout out Bagav, who just came in the charts right now. Big ups to you. You're a platinum
Yeah,
member of my channel. God bless you. And Miss Melina, who took a trip
Yes, Mel.
to England, and right now she's touring the stadium, and enjoying the
She
frills
was.
and the thrills of what Arsenal has to offer.
I was.
Big ups to
Yes,
you,
I
Miss
actually.
Melina.
I seen the video on Instagram. She was outside the
Yeah,
Emirates. Yeah, it's
yeah,
good to see her
I was
outside
with
the
her
Emirates.
today. I was with her.
yeah.
I met her.
Was
I
She's
it?
met her
there,
the
and
first time.
please be safe, Miss Melina, and God be with you. And Bagav too. God bless you for coming to the show too.
Yeah, thanks for
See,
coming on, Matt.
with everything I've heard from a cross section of Arsenal fans all over the world, even if Pablo Mari isn't the most admired player, that has ever donned an Arsenal shirt, and currently is still an Arsenal player.
Yeah,
The fact that he's on loan doesn't still mean his salary, at least part of his salary, isn't being paid by Arsenal. It is being paid by Arsenal. So, I'm just kind of like, I'm happy to see the kind of support he's getting from a cross section of Arsenal supporters out there. Everyone, join together, to dispel this bad occurrence that has actually befell him. He got stabbed in the back, like literally stabbed at the
yeah,
back. So you know, it's just one of those things that uh, you know, because see, it is a player that that's not been admired for his skills on an Arsenal shirt, so and is out there playing on loan, and it just brings that kind of like mixed kind of feelings about what he really means to the club. But to see
yeah,
the kind of emotions, that people are actually venting, towards what happened to him, it's just good to see. And about his career, see, man, when you get stabbed in the back or when you have a back injury of that magnitude, because you just kind of like chipped in that occurrence with Ozil. This is nothing like it. He was
yeah,
literally stabbed in the back. And like, I really heard it was really ghastly. So for him to recover from this, it would take the grace of God. Recovering, I mean, in terms of playing football again or something like that. He's going to be laid off real long, long, long time.
mm,
And this might also affect our finances also in the long run, because Monza will definitely, relinquish everything they have with him, because he's there on loan. He's not their player. So they have the right to send him back to Arsenal. So he'll be back on the Arsenal treatment table. It's Arsenal. Arsenal have to take care of the tabs, and this is what we get, you know. But at the same time, my condolences to him, my condolences to his family, and you know, just get back up, Maria, and just be strong at this time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's like, well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Tim. To be honest with you, I think that's the best thing for him to do. I do agree. I think he's going to be out with he is going to be out a length of time. Like, we don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's going to have to take some time, obviously, recover over this, get back into ways of playing football. Whether he want to carry on playing over there in Italy, I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, only Pablo Marie would know that himself, because I think when you've got you've got a wife and kids, you're thinking of their safety as just as well as your own. Look, obviously, I mean, obviously being a parent myself, that sort of thing. So, it's gonna be hard, but whatever he's going to decide, and you've just got to respect his decision at the end. But hopefully, it doesn't come between him and his football, even though having your family there is important as well. But if it's something you like doing, then maybe just take some time off and just recuperate and just think things through. But it's like what you said, we'll wish him all the best. And
True, true.
yeah, so
I'll chip in something there. And Monza, which is the club he plays for on loan in
yeah,
Italy, you know, they just came in from the second string league, in Italy, and you know they just moved up, to the Serie A this season, and they're playing quite well. He's been finding game time there seriously, you know, and
yeah,
he's been playing well, defending well. They've conceded less goals this season, unlike last season where they were, you know, going for qualification up to the Serie A. So Monza have been performing well, and he's been a core defensive core in that Monza team. So, you know, it's just happening at a bad time. Uh, you know, I don't know. It's confusing, man, because right now Arsenal needs to, you know, sell out all these people that are on loan, at least get some money from them. This is another blip. In that it actually affects everything Arsenal right now, because we're
mm,
thinking of flogging him in terms of like just whipping him out, you know, from the club, and get some
yeah,
But the
money,
thing
you
is,
know, for him. So
when you say that, yes, it might actually have an affection, and then when you're trying to vlog him and all that stuff, we'll probably end up running down his. We'll probably end up letting him go on a free.
that's
yeah,
it. That's it. You know, and
And
it's
it's
the
one of those
board.
ones where you have to look at it thinking, right, you know what, let this guy go on a free because of the situation, what's happened. Us fans,
Yeah,
we can't moan and say, oh, let's get a couple of million about it. Not really, because
we can't get anything. That's
we
the
can't get
fact.
anything because of the situation, what happened. It's
Yeah,
got to be one of
and
those ones.
yeah, but again, we're looking at it from an emotional standpoint. If we're looking
yeah,
at it from a business standpoint, it is another dink, you know, another slate on Arsenal's transfer business. You know, I've been all up on this transfer business, you know, for some couple of days now, also since we got that draw against Southampton. You know, I've been talking about our transfer dealings. It's been woeful. And this Pablo Mari's debacle, you know, epitomizes it. You know, he's one of those players that hasn't been playing for Arsenal, at least since he came in. He had just one season with us, and the rest of the seasons he had been shipped out to play. And you know, can see what's happening right now. Condolences to his family, but that's another dent on Arsenal's transfer business. It's all laid bare for us to see. Another one who would rip
yeah,
up his contract and go and live on a free.
yeah, true. Like I said, Bargav is in the chat. He says, "Big up to Tony. We follow this club week in, week out. Love everybody's opinion in the community." Big up Bargav on that one,
Big
mate.
up Bagav.
And
God bless you, my brother.
also, we have DWTT says hello panel and the chat room.
DWTT, my brother. Good to
DWTT.
see you here, DWTT. God bless you, man.
And him and Bargav, they're having just conversations themselves. As we can see.
At least it keeps
All
the
right.
keeps the you know keep the chat going.
Keep the chat going. Yeah, that's right.
Keep
Yeah,
chat going.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's. I agree with what you both said. You know, obviously, you take it into obviously both opinions and that. I think you both come up with well opinions and that. But you know, it's just horrible to see whether as a professional footballer, actor, or whatever. You just don't want to go around and hearing things like this that's happened is wrong in my book. But um, anyway, let's move on from this one. Right, lads. I'm going to talk about this defeat, this PSV defeat in Europa League. Obviously, PSV won 2-0. Um, it wasn't a great game for us. We didn't play. In my opinion, we didn't play well. The team was mixed up a bit. You can understand it. Um, in the end of the day, just want to get your opinions and both your views on the game. Um, we're still top of the league anyway. You know, we're still top of the league. We're still going strong. I think most probably Arteta may have tried something in this game to obviously save the players and that, like you know the 13 players against Nottingham Forest this weekend. So I'll tell you what, let's come to Tony. Tony, what's your views on this last night's game, mate?
Where do we start from, Anthony and Luca? It's one of those performances where we just have to, look inwards and look into our performance and start dishing out constructive. I want to pinpoint it there. Constructive criticism across a cross section of that 11-man team that was set up yesterday, including part of our first teamers. They should come in for the chop also. Arsenal, are we in crisis right now? Are the wheels falling off? Are the knobs shaking? Are the roofs leaking? The answer is no. Are we in crisis? The answer is no. But what is happening is that we're slowly disintegrating, and we shouldn't fall into that trap. Of course, we are top of that Europa League a group down there with PSV. But if we go into the specifics of yesterday, it was a shambolic performance, extremely shambolic. The game was lost before the whistle to start the game even blew. It was the first 11 that played. See, when you tinker, when when you get to a stage where you're playing with youth and you have a blend, with kind of like some youth and some winners, and then you drop those people and you come, all out with some certain kind of youth that haven't been posing a problem to the coach in terms of knocking on the door constantly to be named in that first 11. This is what you get into when your squad is thin and you didn't manage to get over the line signings that would improve your squad depth. This is the problem you're going to enter. You're going to get slapped up by these little teams in Europe. You will get
Yeah,
slapped up, and that's what just happened. It just shows that our second string team isn't isn't hungry enough. Eddie Nketiah isn't hungry enough. Odegaard had a bad, shocking game yesterday. Let's even address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is Gabriel Martinelli. Let's even talk about that. For about 3 straight games, this guy hasn't been proven his worth. I like how he started the season, but since his contract situation got out there and there's a little bit of a debacle out there with him, his performances has been shocking. Gabriel Jesus hasn't scored in 7 games. It's a genuine problem to Arsenal Football Club at the time. Right now, Eddie Nketiah, who is meant to be our second string striker, God knows I have a soft spot for Eddie Nketiah. I like him as a person, of course, ill hand, and of course, is you know, I just really think he's this kind of guy that wasn't really given chances in terms of coming up and starting a game for the team. But right now he can't complain. He's getting those call-ups in the Europa League, and this is where he's supposed to be knocking on that door fervently. But what has he done? He's fluffed those chances. In the first minutes or the early part of that first half, where Pablo Vieira was a little bit effective on the right hand side of that wing area, he was actually throwing some kind of very, very good passes across to Eddie Nketiah. He fluffed his lines. Let's just call a spade a spade. He fluffed his lines. He couldn't get
Yeah,
on top of good clear headers to get in a goal for us. Our midfield was thin. Lokonga was completely out muscled, and I really wanted to see a response from Lokonga in that midfield yesterday. He ought to have a big performance because just last week he came out in the media that Lokonga was saying that he wants to leave the club because Mikel Arteta didn't actually put him to play in the games last season. Towards the end of last season, he wasn't playing and he was dropped to the bench. And he was complaining that he called up his agent that he wants to leave the club and he was talking tough. But these are the places and these are the spaces where we should be seeing your worth. Lokonga, and it actually did nothing. You're not knocking on the door right now with that performance at Lokonga. Completely shit.
no,
Yesterday, we also fielded William Saliba in the middle of the park, just in the central area of our defense. And shambles. The way Xavi kind of metamorphosed into the typical Xavi that we know in that Barcelona shirt years ago, it just looked like a reincarnated one. Our defense was toiled with, slapped, completely made a complete show of our defense yesterday. It was just meant to be two. It was meant to be about 6 goals to nil. Arsenal, as a club, actually got 69%. See, I'm very crazy about statistics. We had about 69% of the ball possession in the first half alone. Okay, in the combined first and second half, Arsenal had combined 66% of the ball possession. Yet yesterday, 34% of the ball possession went down there to PSV Eindhoven. But listen to the one that should actually cause a crack in your knickers. It's this one. It's Arsenal had just eight goal attempts yesterday. Can you believe it? With a ball possession of about 66%, while PSV, with just 34% of the ball possession yesterday, just had about 15 goal attempts. Can you believe
yeah,
it? Absolutely
yeah,
shocking.
yeah.
Absolutely
Well,
shocking. We shouldn't be having that in Arsenal Football Club.
no, we should be
I
saying,
really hope they turn up in that game against Nottingham Forest.
yeah, me too. Cause I got to be honest with you, when it comes through on my phone, I actually looked who was playing and the formation that Arteta had out. Obviously 4-3-3. It don't work. It don't work. 4-3. When Arsenal plays 4-3-3, it is, in my opinion, my goose, is absolutely dreadful. We don't do nothing with it. We don't exploit the passes. The play is changing. We seem to be more in the centre, like we're bulked up more in the middle of the pitch instead of playing the balls out wide and people coming out wide and crossing the balls in. There wasn't hardly any of that on the highlights I seen because the problem is I didn't watch the game. I don't have BT Sports, but I catch up all on the highlights after the game, and the highlights what I saw in the game, I just didn't feel that we were well, we didn't turn up. Did not turn
You're
up at
lucky.
all.
You're
We were
lucky. No Arsenal fan should be watching that game.
it
You're
was
very
it was
lucky. I'm
crap.
happy you didn't watch it. It was
Yeah,
an eyesore.
and it's like what you mentioned about Eddie Nketiah as well. I mean, obviously, some people got different views on Eddie Nketiah, but I think Luca might be one of them. So I'd say what Luca. Um, I'll hear your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, first things first, thank you very much. Thoughts on the game yesterday. Look, I went to go back and watched it, right? And for me, that was a very, very disappointing performance because what I don't get is about. I'm surprised the way Mikel Arteta put that first team out, right? Some of the first team players. Okay, so if he could play some of those first team players, having the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Saka and Thomas Partey come on, Why did we not start them from the beginning if Arteta wanted to take that seriously? Yes, I know he started the likes of Nketiah, Vieira and all that. But why is it that, okay, fair enough. If Jesus and Saka and Partey came on and had most of game time in the second half, why did he not start him at the start and beginning? And second, right, about the game was poor. It was very poor. And well done to PSV. Congratulations to them. They were the better team. And for me, we were poor from start to scratch. And this is the thing, and I've said this on my channel, right? Ever since the Leeds game, I'm starting to get concerned. And I said this to Mel and Stephen when I first met them today in London. And for me, I said to them, right, I'm getting very, very concerned about with our performances. And I don't want to be too harsh and too negative because the thing is, our fan base are like getting overhyped up, just saying about, oh yeah, we're title contenders, oh this and that, oh yeah, we're going to be challenging with Man City. Mate, no. I've started to see this now, right? And I don't really want to be too negative, right? And I want to be like, okay, yes, the last few games we haven't played well, we can go again. But where are the performances at the start of the season, right? Where we've actually started games very well. We're struggling to start performing in second half performances. The Leeds game, we got away with it, right?
Yeah.
By VAR controversial. Southampton, one of those games for, you know what? Let's get out of jail and walk away with a draw. PSV at home, we beat them at home 1-0. But PSV played well in the second half and until we brought the big boys on. And actually, Granit Xhaka scored in that game. But we found it difficult to break them down because they were defending. And then last night's performance was poor. And I'm sorry, right? Eddie Nketiah is not good enough for this football club. And I said this last season, right? Why give this guy a contract, right? It doesn't matter whether he scored important goals when we were in the top 4 battle last season. It doesn't matter. He scored against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, right? Twice, yeah? Right? Once or twice he scored, right? And for me, right, he scored against Leeds and he scored in a few other games. The guy ain't good enough. And I said this from the beginning. And people said to me in the summer, it doesn't matter about the squad number. Well, it does. To me, a number does matter because that number 14 shirt was represented by Thierry Henry, a great legend that scored 228 goals in his career at Arsenal Football Club. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then Aubameyang as well, right? Even Theo Walcott as well. I know Walcott isn't world class, but at least he actually got goals in his prime, right?
Yeah.
Nketiah is not good enough for this football club. And this guy has had so many chances. Yeah, he doesn't start in the Prem, right? And Arteta's used him on the wing and it hasn't worked, right? And Jesus can also play on the right hand side as well. And this is the problem. This is why in January is so important because if Gabriel Jesus gets an injury for Brazil in the World Cup, Nketiah isn't going to the World Cup. He's taking a month off, or Arsenal are going to organise friendly matches in Dubai, right? Nketiah is going to start scoring goals, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh my God, Nketiah scored in a friendly game, probably against some team who we never heard of playing in Dubai, right? Or we might be playing some random friendlies, right? It doesn't matter. And this, mate, we need squad depth, and this is the problem. These performances recently have not been good. The players look fatigued, right? Right? They look tired. They look fragile, right? I was listening to AFTV yesterday, and Robbie Lyle was saying something about there's no excuses. The players are not fatigued. Well, hello, they are fatigued. They are fatigued. They are tired, and this is the problem that we didn't go and get a midfielder on deadline day. Is this
I do agree with that.
Is this starting to be the same old Arsenal, right? Where we had a bad start to last season, whereas we look at the comparison to this season, we've had a very good start to the season, unexpected, right? Lost 2 games in all competition, right? Man United and PSV, first defeat since Manchester United at Old Trafford. Are we starting to slowly get biting and get in trouble and get caught out? Whereas we've got Forest on Sunday, right? That's not going to be an easy game, right?
Well, no, they beat Liverpool last game, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat Liverpool. They're no mugs. Forest are unbeaten in 2 games. They picked up 4 points in their last 2 games. If they beat us on Sunday and results go their way, they get out of the relegation zone.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, Luca, regarding obviously after the World Cup in this January transfer window, if we don't get, let's say 2 players, because to me,
We need at least
the
2 or
main
3
issue,
players.
the main issue is striker up front, yeah, and
And
also
midfield.
a DM, a defensive midfielder. They're the main 2. So if we don't get these 2 players in these positions in January, you can see Arsenal slowly losing games
You do know
and
we can jump. You do know
accelerating.
we can jump from 5th, right? 3 defeats from now, you jump into 5th place.
Yeah.
And suddenly all that goes to show the fan base will twist and turn, saying, "Oh, Arteta is the best looking Spaniard we know," right? Right? And people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, we could struggle for top 4." Because if we lose the next 3
You know what?
games,
Let's leave Mikel Arteta out of this. He's not the board. See, there was something you said about Eddie Nketiah. See, I know Eddie Nketiah is not. He ought not. He doesn't even have any business dealing with our first 11. But with the whole situation surrounding him, see, I'm an advocate for Arsenal to get at least a nickel from these players. When I came to your show, I said this to you, Luca. Arsenal need to start changing that culture of letting players leave for free because all these problems combined to the fact that or converges to a situation where Arsenal is handicapped to actually buy in the transfer window. At least we've heard of something called FFP. See, we need to start getting top dollar for these players. I have no problem with them giving Eddie Nketiah a deal right now and say, "Hey, homie, don't leave the
but he
club
only
right
signed that
now."
contract
But he
because
can go.
Arteta gave him 100
He
grand a
can
week.
actually leave next season. He can leave in the January market, as far as I'm
Yeah, but how
concerned.
much money
If
would
any
we
club
actually get
wants to
for him?
get him,
Because for me, he
so
ain't
far
contributing
we
to
get
scoring any
money.
goals.
So far we recoup some money from these players. See, the news with Pablo Mari, we just started this today again. The news with Pablo Mari means that he's going to leave for free. That's
Yeah.
it. So all these players are all leaving for free. And Arsenal is not getting any money from them.
Yeah,
Now,
but that comes down to the owners.
how do
Yeah,
we
but that
fund a
comes down to the
transfer?
owners. That comes down to the board.
That's what I'm saying. This doesn't even concern Mikel Arteta. It concerns the board. So right now, Pablo Mari will leave for free. If Eddie Nketiah didn't get a contract, he will leave for free. So from where do we get money to buy players that we need? And mind you, Arsenal need at least £200 million to have major surgery on this team. Because if we don't get 150 million quid by January, let's kiss this title goodbye. We're not getting this title. I said that Arsenal would win this league this year, but we need to strengthen in January. And with what is happening now, just Monday,
Yeah, but
around Monday,
you really think we're gonna?
the news came out that we just only have 50 million quid to spend. That's a
I
joke.
would,
It's an
I
absolute
would,
joke
Yeah, but
because we
hold on,
need a
yeah.
center forward, we need a center back because Gabby is messing up in the heart of that center back area. We need a replacement for Thomas Partey in case he gets injured. In the next 5 games, he'll be injured. We need a replacement there. We need a replacement in the wide forward area.
Yeah, but
See,
when you
that's
say
4
that,
players. We need £150 million. How do we get it?
yeah, but when you say
With
that, look,
FFP breathing down our necks.
when you
we're not going
say
to get
that,
it. We're not going to get it. And to be honest with you, I've read there's 2 things that sorry, Luca, I'll let you have your
that's
say
right.
in a sec. There's 2 prices I read. Number one, I read that Arsenal's got 50 million to spend in January, and then the next thing that I read saying it's 70 million. So it's either one or the other. I mean, all this 150 million, 200 millions, this, that, and the other. That's not going to happen. That is not going to
It's
happen
not
in
gonna
January. We're not going
actually what I
to. We're
heard
not
was
going to
It's
it's
spend
going
because
to
that
be
I'll tell
40
you
million
why.
pounds. That's what I heard directly from my source in the club. It's 40
It's because
pounds.
I tell you why. I tell you
These
why.
guys don't
Because
have they don't want to put up the money.
I tell you why. Because at the end of the day, right, I agree with both of you, right. If people really think that we've only got 50, 70 million pound, right, to spend, right, don't forget, right, the owner has to pay off 557 million pound of his NFL stadium, yeah, 600
Mm.
million he has to pay off, right. And if the owner can't obviously go to his son and say like, oh, we need 150 million. If we actually really want to win this league, right, we need 150 million. Go and get 3 players.
Yeah.
You go and get 3 players. Even Lee Gunner said as well. Go and get someone like a Madison, Casido, or an Ivan Toney. These are players, where we need to strengthen in the transfer market. We
We
need
don't
to
even
bring
need those
some
players.
quality players.
We don't even need
Yeah, but
those
if we
players.
get
We need to
Madison,
go
we
get
got two
Savage.
players.
We need to go
We got
get
three.
Savage. We need to go get
Yeah, but we got
Savage.
three
We need a
players that
wide
could play
forward in
there.
Zaha to come in.
Yeah, but we
These are the
can,
kind of
But
players we need.
Odegaard's not playing well, not playing very well at the moment. He's starting to be a passenger at the
Yeah.
moment. He ain't
Vieira.
playing very well, right? Yeah, we've got Smith Rowe coming back. We've got Vieira, yeah.
Yeah.
But we need a defensive midfielder, right? Anthony, right? Go and get someone like a Casido from Brighton, right? Striker Ivan Toney, simple, yeah. Premier League proven.
Yeah,
He's
simple,
doing very
yeah.
well for Brentford. Be
I
a
agree.
great backup, right?
Yeah.
Right? Play him up front with Gabriel Jesus, right? People might say, oh, yeah, he wants first team football. Yeah, you put him up front with Jesus. I'm sure he can do well. That's why you put Jesus on the wing. You put Ivan Toney at central striker. Imagine Ivan Toney. He'll get the service, right?
See, there's
Arsenal,
a bigger
Arsenal
picture
need a
we're not
backup
even seeing.
goalkeeper as well.
We need a centre back. We need a centre back.
We do.
See, there's danger
Because
coming.
holding is shit.
I've seen it.
Right?
There's danger coming. And it's at that centre back area. Because Gabriel Magalhaes was seen yesterday. I posted it on my Instagram in case you want to see it. Gabriel Magalhaes yesterday was seen limping out of the Eindhoven Stadium yesterday with an injury on his leg. He was limping seriously yesterday. So what does that mean? He's injured. Or even if they try to inject him with some super-made injection to kind of make that injury go away, he's going to have a problem concentrating with that injury that he has right now. It's a problem. We need a new centre-back. And to get a good centre-back from anywhere in the world right now that will fit into the Arsenal system, you're talking of £50 million. So
the only centre-back we're being linked with.
The problem is coming.
The only centre-back we're linked with is that Frankfurt defender, Ndicka.
Yeah,
is he good?
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Arsenal
should be in for a guy like that.
Yeah, that
PM to get that kind of guy.
See, the problem
with us is our board.
We was after him before.
The problem with us is our board. Our board is not serious to win a trophy. This week, when I saw that they're claiming that they have £50 million, and I'm like, are these guys job?
Yeah, but 50 million, 70 million isn't enough.
Smoking up there in that boardroom.
Are
they really smoking something there?
Stadium? How is 50, 70 million going to be enough, Tony Claude? How's 50, 70 million going to be enough, right, to get 3 players? Who are you really going to buy in the January transfer window?
You can't. You'd be lucky to get 2 players out of that, Luca.
You'd be lucky. Ivan Toney's going to be about 50 million, right? Yeah. But that's 20 million left.
We will be jokers if we think that Brentford won't ask for 70 million quid for Ivan Toney. Let's don't be deluded here. They're gonna ask for close to 100 million.
There's a few comments I want to get through a sec. DWTT said, obviously we were talking about Eddie in the Europa League. He goes, Eddie didn't surprise us. That's what he offers. He's not good. He's had 2 chances to score and failed. Nothing new. Right? That's what he was saying on there. And he said, mentally, Arsenal didn't come ready to play PSV. Came out ready to play the game. And all 11 players from Arsenal were poor. No one stood out. So that's that one on that one. And
DWTT, God bless you. True. Your last statement, true. God bless you. That's true. That's what we need.
Yeah. And he said Arsenal had a chance to win the group. And he looked like they were weak. What's that there? With nothing to with just making it into the knockout rounds. How different and then the top 4 collapsed last season. So, obviously what he's saying, you can understand what he's saying to a certain extent. The last 5 matches haven't been Arsenal's like performance, but we have been lucky and we got a result now with a loss. Will team wake up? When they
See,
wake up,
see,
like,
see, Anthony. I don't want to paint a picture that we're in crisis. We're not
no,
in crisis. I don't want people to
Yeah, but
paint
how do you
a
know that we're
picture
not
of
in
doom
crisis?
and gloom. It's not doom and gloom.
Yeah,
See,
but how do you know
Manchester
we're not
City
in
is
crisis?
second right
How do
now.
you know we're
Arsenal
not in
is first.
crisis?
We had a very horrible start to the season last season. It's purely different from now.
But Tony Claude, how do you know we're not in
Many
crisis?
people actually said we're going to come eighth this season. So if we're in about
they're
first right now, you guys, these guys that claim that we're going to fail this season, shouldn't talk too much right now. We're in first position. But I do understand that we need to constructively criticize this team as it is right now. And before this, metamorphose into a goddamn cancer right now. So it's not
yeah,
all doom and gloom. I don't want people to paint it in that picture.
no,
Yeah, because other
yeah.
people that strengthen are in crisis now. Tottenham Hotspurs, they're actually relying
Because
on Jet Spence to come in.
this is why we need squad depth, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we go in January, right, and not sign anyone again.
Big up sports capital. I haven't seen you
I
before.
wouldn't be
Welcome
surprised.
to
I
the
really
sound.
would not be surprised because these owners now, right? If Stan Kroenke really has to pay that sort of money off, right? I'm sure he can lend us 150 mil because 50, 70 million isn't going to be enough. I mean, the pressure's going to be on the manager because here's the thing, right? If Arteta scrapes fourth spot in the last few games, it's not good enough in my opinion. And I
Yeah,
know,
I want to win the league this season.
yeah,
If he
it's
doesn't
so
get
do
it,
I.
I think he should
If
leave the
you're top
club.
of the league, right, and even Lee Gunner said this, right, and I'll go with my opinion, right. If you're top of the league with 11 games, right, and if you've got a really good chance of winning the league, despite Manchester United are not doing good this season, Chelsea are there and abouts, right, but they're not that great, right. They're doing well with Potter, but they're not Chelsea of old. Tottenham are being Tottenham. Liverpool are just a bit unpredictable, right? But
Yeah.
they're not doing well. That 1 week that people saying that they're going to come back, another week they're not. So basically, it's
But,
just us and Man City, and
but listen,
this is
Luca,
where
I understand.
we have a
I,
great opportunity, guys, in
yeah,
January to spend, and we
True,
can't have this
I
yeah.
really
situation
understand
again.
that. But
Remember when
But
Leicester
we're
won the
not in
can
a
league?
you
crisis.
can
That's
you
one
see
thing I
these
want you
top
to
teams?
understand.
I think
These
we
top
are in a
teams
crisis.
after the World Cup, after the World Cup, and then the Premier League starts back after the World Cup. Can you see these top teams struggling? Because all these top teams, their players is going to go out and they're going to go out on
I don't
international
see Man
duty,
City
play
struggle.
World Cup.
I
They,
don't
They're
they
going
see
to be
are
Man
going to
City
struggling.
struggle.
struggling.
They're already struggling this season.
But I don't
See,
see Man City
Manchester
because
City
Haaland
had a
isn't going to
draw
the World Cup.
against
Mahrez
Aston
is not
Villa.
going to the World
They
Cup.
Yeah,
drew against Newcastle. Those are poor
yeah.
performances. All these teams are having one problem or the other. So
But
you can't slag Arsenal for having a
I,
good season right now. If
yeah,
you compare it
but
to last season, many Arsenal fans were
yeah.
saying we're going to contend this season.
Well, it's
So
like with
we've beat the
Haaland. I've
expectations
read
right
Haaland
now.
is injured. Haaland's injured now.
That's what I heard. So these teams will
Yeah,
all flop throughout the season. So it's not like it's a big crisis, but because I want a situation where we're perfect. So
Haaland's
that's
injury is
why
all
I'm
right because he's
yeah,
fit for tomorrow.
exactly. That's why I'm
yeah,
conversing for more signings. Because I'll be blind if I say we don't need signings. We need
But
signings to do it.
if you're saying if we want to win the league, right, do you
Yeah.
trust this owner who is actually going to really spend in January? Do you really think we're going to get the requirements? Because we're not Man City's level
mm.
at this moment of time.
No,
Because
no, we're
remember
nowhere
when
near it.
Leicester won the
Sure,
league?
Nowhere near it.
and that's what I'm saying. It's the board. It's the board, and that's
Yeah,
why. See, that's why this beats me. That's why when I see people are saying Arteta out, I have a problem with that. Can't we
yeah.
just clearly see that it's the board that has a problem? You don't
Okay.
want to come
But
out
you
and
could
back
say
your
that with
manager
Unai
with
Emery. Then
money.
why is it that people called Emery out, but people are not calling Arteta out? What's the difference? Because Emery was given 50 million to spend
I know.
in his first season,
That's
right?
what I'm
And
saying.
we were linked
That's
to
what I'm
players
saying.
like
That
Gary Cahill.
Arsenal will be in the system of sacking coaches without getting
And
anything
yeah,
done. That's what I'm saying. We'll now start
and
having that history,
in all
and we
in all
don't need that.
fairness,
We
that
need to
team that
tackle the
Unai Emery
problem
had,
where it's supposed to come from,
yeah, that
Yeah.
your team
and
that
that's the
Unai
board.
Emery had was 80% of dead wood in that team. We've got rid of most of these players now, and he finished fifth and got to Europa League final as well. So
Look
if
how
he
we had
did that with
Mustafi in
80,
that defense.
with, yeah, that's what I'm
Concerning.
saying. 80, 80% of dead wood. If he can get into a Europa League final and finish fifth in the league, obviously he
Agreed.
did do something right that season. But so I just want to get to these comments. They say sports capital. I haven't seen him in the chat. I think I said it before, but welcome in, mate. It says Tony, you're not going to win the league, mate. I'm an Arsenal fan, as you know. I don't think we are. I suppose I can vouch for Luca, saying we're not going
Monty,
to win the
come
league.
back and talk. Come back and talk this talk when you're in top four. That's all I'll say to you, Monty. Come back and talk to us when you're in top four.
And
You
he's
splashed out in the market. You bought Anthony. You bought all these players in. You brought them in. Right now, you're in the verge of actually disgracing your legend, a club legend like Ronaldo, treating him like shit. And right now, you also bought a player from Ajax for about 85 million pounds, and he's not even giving you the goods. You're not in top
no.
four. You're not doing quite well. You're not in. Do you think you will qualify for the Champions League, Monte? I don't know. When you're in top four, come talk to me, Monte.
And then he says that's why you're not going to win the league with the owners. Basically, we've got with them owners. He goes on to say, because Luca bought up about Madison. He says Madison provides depth and competition in the midfield. In the middle, basically. We need that. He's scoring. Would welcome it. Well, will be welcomed at Arsenal, and it would be. So, I mean, but then again, are we going to get? I can't see us going out to getting a Madison at the minute, because, in all fairness, that player alone, he's coming on leaps and bounds now. He's got more. He's starting to score now.
Madison
And
will
you're
go
going to
Newcastle.
yeah, but you're going to be talking about. Well, he might do, yeah, but you're going to be talking about at least, and you know what ridiculous prices what Leicester wants for their players. You're going to be talking around about 18, 19 million for James Maddison. Arsenal's not going to splash that sort of money on a
No,
player.
we never
But we
do.
don't need
Definitely not.
that smoke. We don't need that smoke. We just need to go for players that really want to come and play for the football club.
But we don't
Madison,
want
I don't
players for
really
the
think he
future.
has
We
what
need
it
players
takes.
that are actually going to improve the team. They don't have to be world class, but we need players who are actually going to help us win the league and actually want to play for the club.
Look at that's the difference. I want to win the league. I need world-class
So do
players
I.
right now. Like right now.
Even if it's
I
just a
don't have
once in a
time for
lifetime, I want to win it.
Madison who would have inconsistencies. I want world-class players. Go into that if this board is serious, look at, we will be going and be talking to the managers and to the representatives of Milinkovic-Savic. We'll be calling up Ivan Toney's representative right now. Edu should be doing that. Do you know that Arsenal is actually having a talk about for the contract of Edu right now, instead of actually talking about the contract of Saka, William Saliba, and Gabriel Martinelli? Right now, that's what the board is doing. They're talking to Edu rather than concentrating on the contract of three of our most improved and three of our most important players in the team. That's a problem, bro.
Yeah.
If anyone isn't seeing that it's the board, well, I'm sorry, man. You need to recognize it. You need to.
Yeah, you do. Well, he goes on his last comment, DWTT. He said they still need the number 9. Basically a winger, a full back, and a centre back, and number 8. He said take your pick. But obviously they're struggling in obviously centre backs and full backs. But it's each to their own. These teams, we can go on all day and say, oh, we need this position, we need that position, and this and that and the other. And sometimes it never pays off, and also it never happens. So it's a philosophy with the manager in what he wants to play, and and obviously his communication with the board, and if the board lets him, want to go out and get these players and also have the cash for these players as well. So. We don't know, but I tell you what, I can't wait to get this World Cup over with, and January.
And the January market should come in. I don't want to see us linked to players like Madison. Madison all summer was linked to get a move to Tottenham Hotspurs. He wants to leave Leicester desperately, and I don't want that scenario. I want players that want to come into Arsenal and play for the shirt. And if we cannot get those kind of players, then go and get world-class players like Milinkovic-Savic. In the Premier League, bring in an Ivan Toney. These are the kind of players I want to be linked to.
But when you
I don't
say
want
that,
to link to players that have divided loyalties.
The owner is not going to. Sorry, the owner's not going to do that. right? And these are the type of players where you have to bring in to win the league. And this is the thing. I don't really want to be too negative and too crucial, right? But I'm
Yeah,
starting to see, right, from now, it's going to be interesting, right? We've got Forest, Chelsea, and Wolves the next 3 Premier League games before the World Cup. There's 3 Premier League matches, right? I want
yeah.
us, I want us to get 9 points in that game, right?
We have
Forest
Yeah.
at
to.
home, Chelsea away, Wolves away, right? 3 tough games, and we can't bottle, we can't pitchinate, we can't bottle. We have to win those 3 games if we're good enough.
Yeah,
Okay, we have to because Forest is going to be a tough game on Sunday, right? They're going to be up for this game, right?
yeah.
And I do think we will win. I do think we will win because we've got to bounce back because our
We've
performances
got to bounce
in the
back.
second half
Facts.
have been fragile. They've been poor. Saka looks
Yeah.
tired, right? We're forcing him to play. Arteta's forcing him to play because we don't really have anyone decent. Okay, okay. If you're going to send Pepe out on loan, right? Your record signing, right? I was at the Wolves game last season when we scored in the last minute. Lacazette scored the winner, right? Pepe scored in that game and contributed the winning goal, setting it up for Laka. And ever since then, he dropped him. Why is it that Arteta's not
But
giving
he's not
Pepe?
good enough. He's
I
not good
know, but
enough.
still, at the
He's
end of
not
the day,
good
he's better
enough.
than Reece Nelson. He's better than Marquinhos.
But he's not good enough. If he's not good enough to play for Nice, scoring lots of goals for Nice, he has no concern to be an Arsenal Football Club. I like Pepe as a guy, but because I like him doesn't mean I want him at the football club. He's not performing in this. He's not getting 10 goals for them right now. He can leave. See, it's high time we start getting money. I will still reiterate this. It's high time we start getting money. Doesn't it hurt you that we cannot our record signing, that we can't even get 50 million quid for this guy?
We can't
Why
even
should
get
he
20
remain at the
million.
club to run down his contract and then we'll still be in that same situation
And you know
of,
what's going to
of a
happen?
problem? We
We'll
don't
let him
need
go on a
that smoke
free.
right now.
We will let him go on a free, right, and get 72 million wasted where we could have used those players on positions where we'll
Well, at
strengthen
least
the
we're
squad.
getting something from a loan deal. We're getting something from a loan. At least
We
that's
might
a
get 10
start.
million for him. 10 mil. That's
Yeah,
probably what we're going to.
bro, we just need
Well, the
any
last
money we
team that
can
wanted
get.
him was West Ham, and they offered 30 million for him, and they rejected that, didn't they, Arsenal?
Yeah.
So
They didn't offer. They
you know
didn't
what I
offer
mean?
any. They didn't offer any money. Actually, nobody wanted him. Actually, let's be very serious. Because
Oh
at the
well, going
transfer
back,
day,
it was
they didn't even
West
want
Ham
him.
that wanted him for 30 mil.
That's
I
what
was
it's on the
difficult.
news, but they didn't want
Yeah.
him. They didn't put
So
up any
anyway,
money for him.
But where's Pepe
Matt's
going to
in.
go then? Where's Pepe
Yeah.
going to go? Because we can't even get rid of Reece Nelson.
Anyway, Matt's in. Let's get you see. Big up,
He's
everyone.
not
Great
good
show.
enough. He's
Thanks for
not good
liking and
enough.
watching,
He's
and
not good
also the
enough.
comments. Big up, Matt.
Even if he's in the football club, trust me, he won't do anything.
Look at
He won't do
Bellerin.
anything.
Bellerin, we sent him on a free. Hector
Yeah,
Bellerin,
he
and
ripped
for
up.
me, he
He
just
ripped
got
up his
outspun
contract. We're
by
not getting
Marnie
any
the other
money
night.
from these guys.
Uh, but
It's a
yeah,
sacrilege. Can't get 5 million
no,
quid for these guys.
yeah,
It's a
yeah. We got.
disgrace.
We sadly we got to move. We got to move on to the next topic because it's
Okay.
obviously it's good. I like it. I like it a lot. If this show goes is supposed to be an hour, but if it goes slightly just over an hour, hour and 5, hour and 10, I'm fine with that. Basically, yeah.
And
Unai Emery.
mind you guys, Anthony, please, I want to chip this in. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stay later till you want me. No problem. But see,
yeah,
Arsenal has played 8 games for the past 28 days. It's shocking.
yeah,
It's shocking. And again, because these guys are human beings, they're flesh and blood, like me and you. You know, they do normal things. They're emotional beings. They get tired, physically. Even us, if we do little work, we get tired. So these guys have played 8 games, including stunners like Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspurs. This month in the past 27 days. It's a lot of games, and when
yeah,
your squad is less and stretched to the limit and it's thin, what do you expect? You should start expecting fatigue, tiredness, into that camp and into that dugout with those players. It's
yeah,
a hard one. 8 games, it's a hard one. So, in as much as we want to, dish out criticisms to these players, we should also see a little, just a little area or those spaces where it's a very, very difficult one for them. Eight
Yeah,
games in 28 days, it's horrible.
yeah, it is horrible. But moving on, as we got to do with the show. Good evening, Unai Emery. Obviously, as we know, he's
I will
become
let
the
Luca go off on this because he's a specialist with
yeah,
Unai Emery.
to
I've watched some
Unai,
me,
of his
to me, I
shows
yeah,
where
he's
I
he
basically
think
the new
talks of
manager of
Unai
Aston
Emery.
Villa. He gets there. He's got the job. I think he arrives there the 1st of November. This where he's going to start. Obviously meeting the players and all this and that, and setting out the teams and formation and that. So all I'm going to say is, Luca, what are your thoughts on his appointment of Unai Emery to Aston Villa? Is he going to do a good job? And number two, was you surprised that he actually left to come to Aston Villa? Like, in other words, it
first
wasn't a
things
good.
first. First things first, right? I'll start off with thoughts on the manager before I say surprise. Thoughts on the manager, him coming to Aston Villa. This came out of the blue, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I saw this on Monday night. Mate, I'm not worried because for me, we're in a better position than Aston Villa, right? And fair play to Unai Emery.
yeah,
Fair play to Unai Emery because Unai Emery, for me, right? Let's go back and see what he did at Arsenal, right? He took us into fifth place with a weak squad. I can go through all the names like Linchensteiner, Socrates, Ramsey, Danny Welbeck, Dennis Suarez, Torreira, Guendouzi, all these players, right? He pulled out some
Cole
good signings.
Jenkinson.
Yeah, Cole Jenkinson as well. He took
Yeah,
us into a Europa League final, right? And lost a game in Baku and then took us into fifth place with 1 point, right? And
yeah,
then the thing is, our fan base were really getting onto Unai Emery, right? And for me, yes, people were calling on his head because results weren't going to our plan. But I kind of regret him getting sacked because I said at the time maybe he had to go. But look what he done. He's a Europa League specialist. He got us runners up into a final against Chelsea.
yeah,
And then he won the Europa League with Villarreal and Seville. I do think Unai Emery should have been given a chance because at the time, although Granit Xhaka he's playing really well at the moment. Okay, last night he didn't play well, right? But Xhaka is having the best time in his Arsenal shirt in his career.
Yeah.
But Unai Emery wanted to get rid of him. Hertha Berlin came in and actually agreed to sign Granit Xhaka, but Unai Emery turned around, wanted to get rid of him until Arteta came in. He
yeah,
persuaded Xhaka to stay, and I give credit for Arteta for that because for
yeah,
me, at the time, Granit Xhaka was not good enough
Yeah.
under Unai Emery,
no, he
and for
wasn't.
me,
No.
Unai Emery, right? I do think when we lost that semi-final to Villarreal during the lockdown season,
Yeah,
I feel like we kind of should have kept Emery. We
yeah,
should have done because for me, this manager knows how to win the Europa League. He's the Europa League specialist.
yeah.
And
Because
yes, yeah,
you
go on.
think of it, Luca. When we sacked him, we were eighth in the league,
Yeah, but I
and
do think he should
Arteta
have
come
given him a
in.
chance.
But
Yeah,
yeah, Arteta come in and replaced him, finished eighth in that league, and
well,
obviously
and scrape the FA Cup.
He won the FA Cup. But then you got a following season where Arteta did exactly the same again. He finished eighth with no trophies. But I know what you're saying. Like the board, obviously what they've done with
Emery,
Emery.
Emery didn't win the FA Cup.
No,
Emery
No,
Arteta.
no,
didn't.
no,
He did not
no.
win.
Arteta did. In that
Okay.
season, he was sacked. That Arteta come in, finished eighth, and won us the FA Cup. But he finished eighth the following season with no trophies, Arteta. So it makes you think. I understand what you're saying, going back, Luca, when you said, well, they did this with Unai Emery, so why didn't they do exactly the same with Arteta? But is there something he was probably seen different in Arteta, obviously compared to Unai Emery?
Look, the thing is, Arteta is doing very well at the moment, right? I never wanted this manager in the first place. When I had an old channel, right? right, called Arsenal Vlogs, right, and I don't have that channel anymore now. And for me, I said when before Emery got the job at Arsenal, right, when Arsene Wenger got sacked, I said, right, when Arteta was linked with the job, right, before he became a manager, I never wanted Arteta in the first place because I didn't think he wasn't going to be good enough for Arsenal. I didn't think that he had to cut it in at Arsenal because Arsenal was a massive job, massive club, third biggest club. And for me, when Unai Emery came out of the blue, many people didn't know who he was because of it. Because when he was at PSG, he won the French league. Yes, that's PSG. They're going to win their own piss league anyway.
He brought in Neymar and
Yeah.
Mbappe to the squad as well.
Yeah, Seville, he done well. He beat Liverpool in a final once in the Europa League under Klopp. So Unai Emery had a very good CV. When he first came in the club, I think, you know what, might actually do it right. And he'd take us to the 22-game unbeaten run at the moment. And then everybody kept saying, "Oh yeah, we've got our Arsenal back." Not necessarily because we didn't get top four that season, his first season, but we only finished 1 point off fourth. It's that Brighton game which cost us the game under Granit Xhaka. So Unai Emery will do well for Aston Villa. I do think he will. It's going to be interesting because Villa, I've said this before, right? Aston Villa, when you look at their players, they've got the likes of Coutinho, Buendia, Bailey, Watkins. They've just got a crap defence, right? Matty Cash is probably their best defender out of the whole back four, right? Martinez, good goalkeeper, right? He needs to have a better back four line, right?
Yeah.
On paper, Villa have got good players. And I do think if Unai Emery, right, gets January transfer window, Villa will need to buy a couple of players. I think this season for Aston Villa's objective, they've got to get top 10 this season.
Yeah.
They've got to get top 10 this season because they clearly don't get top 10 this season. Then will it be a failure for Emery? No. Because he'll go again next season and he'll be given the summer. To me, I think Villa's objective, I do think they can get top 10. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think what it is, I think that Unai Emery's gone in there. Obviously, I think it's obviously to do with that money. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I think, hang on a second, they're struggling. I think he's going to look at it as a little project of his own. He can go in there, he can play the players, sell players, bring in players as well. And I think that's going to be a nice little project for him. But knowing that is if the players that he brings in have got to play for him, and obviously he doesn't get, wound up because Emery sometimes with him, he has got a short temperament and he can, he can start having a go at players and then players don't start performing. So, but I think he'd do all right there. I really think he'd do all right there.
But it's going to
Tony,
be interesting where they finish. Are you there, mate? Tony,
you there?
Tony, mate, are you there? I think he's there.
I'm here.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah.
Just want to hear your quick thoughts about Unai Emery. Just make it quick. I got some comments. I got another topic we got to discuss as well.
Yeah. So where were we? Sorry,
about Unai Emery, talking about Emery, about the new Villa manager. Thoughts on it?
Oh. Emery. See, yeah. Emery. See, I never really liked Emery. I'm sorry. In as much as I wanna talk him up, but I didn't really like him as the Arsenal manager. I felt he came in with a cloud over his over his. Yeah, he won lots of Europa League titles, but I never felt like he was that kind of manager that would get us the title. Coupled with his communicative skills, it was just in and about learning English, and of course, even starting the topic, you and Luca, had a chip shot at him and said, "Good evening." you know, you said it, Anthony. Luca said
Yeah,
it too. So that shows you. Of course, it's a joke, but that shows you his communicative skill. His communicative skills was very,
yeah.
very low in
Yeah,
terms of
I think
how he
to
will
be
be able
honest,
to talk to the Arsenal players if they even do understand him at all. So, see, when you're coming with that kind of cloud on your shoulders to a big football club, it's always going to be a problem. It's always going to
yeah,
be a problem.
he's always going to be a
Yeah,
problem.
it's
But
always
it's like
going to
what
be
I
a
said.
problem.
I saw that I was shocked that he went to Villa, but I can understand why. I think he's going to try and turn him. It's going to be like a little project for him. You know what I'm saying? So obviously
Yeah.
he's going to be shipping players out, bringing players in, gradually creeping them up into the team. I think you most probably want to try and get into top six, maybe seven, like a Europa Conference or Europa League, that sort of thing. I think his ambition is to get Villa there. But
I'm sorry, he might struggle. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Forget
but
that Villa won last weekend. He
but they
might
haven't
genuinely
really got their
struggle at
money, have
Aston
they?
Villa.
Because I did read he may be interested in a couple of Arsenal players. And I thought, well, good luck with that because Villa ain't really the sort
Tierney
of
ain't
team.
going anywhere.
Yeah, he ain't gonna spend like 50 million on a player. I can't see Aston Villa doing that. Not at this, the rest of this season and next
But when
season.
you say that, right? If you really saying that Villa, you can't see it them spending 50 mil, then why didn't Unai Emery choose the job? Why did he choose it?
Um,
I think you try and get him. That's a project for him. That's a project for him to do, and only him can do it. But you've got to give him time. But I think he'll have more time there with the Villa board than what he did obviously at us when he was manager at Arsenal. I think he'll stay there longer, in my opinion. But
See, okay, yeah, yeah. See, Unai Emery is one of those kind of coaches that has a profile on every player. Like
yeah,
that was how he even got the Arsenal job, having the profile of all the whole Arsenal players and a long history of how he's going to improve them, get them working, and start scoring goals. So when they sacked him, I think his words to the board was actually null and void because he promised he was going to get these players working. He promised he was going to win the league with them. And he promised he was going to make do with what he had. He even had a profile on all the players and how he was going to improve them. And when this didn't happen at Arsenal, he had to go. That's it. He didn't deliver his promise. But see, that's a different fish to fry.
right,
Aston
yeah,
Villa, Aston Villa have the cojones to actually sack a Steven Gerrard. Why? Because they believe they have at least enough to see them at least above that mid-table range. That's what they feel because they feel like they brought in Inks for big amount of money into the club. They felt that they have a Bailey running things down there, from the flanks. They spent big money for Felipe Contillo, and they genuinely believe that they have a very, very big side to at least be given the likes of Newcastle a run for their money this season, but that isn't coming true. So they had to get a manager who they believe have the profile to at least take them back to Europe. But see, without money, Unai Emery isn't going to get that team to where he
mhm,
has actually promised them. Because I know Unai Emery, he's that kind of manager that will go to the Aston Villa board and tell them he's going to improve these players. He's going to get them playing. And that's what board members want to hear. They don't want to hear we're going to spend money. They want to hear that you're going to make do with the players that they have in the team currently. That's what the board wants to hear. And that's why Unai Emery actually got that job. So be wary if Unai Emery doesn't perform very well in his first 10 games, he will be
yeah,
sacked as Aston Villa manager.
okay, right.
Because I
So
know what he is going to do. It's not even based on a project.
yeah. Well, I'm
It's
gonna go
based
back
on
to
that he wants to improve the players that they already have. And I'm
yeah.
sorry, if they go on a
That's
dip
right.
of a form, he's going to be
So
sacked.
this is your opinion, and everybody on this show is entitled to an opinion, and that's it. That's all we got at the end of the day. Anyway, DWTT, it says Eddie and Sabby both failed. Both talked about wanting minutes. Do they look like the players who need more minutes? They do need more minutes, but I just maybe out on loan somewhere. But we've got a narrow squad, haven't we? We've got no depth. We've still got a sign depth on our team. Arsenal knows their schedule before the season. The schedule can't be an excuse for them. And then this is Matt from Football United TV. Obviously, he says he likes the word Villa, does he? So Villa Real, and now Aston Villa. He goes spooky, laugh out loud. That's actually I quite like that actually. Yeah. Arsenal, like I said, I actually saying big up Luca.
Big up, Luca.
DWTT. Many of the things that United wanted at Arsenal.
Yeah.
It would have potentially have worked for us. And Pepe, he introduced the youth stacker.
He did
He
introduce
did as
the
well.
youth
Yeah,
stacker.
yeah, he did. Yeah, I wanted him gone, but Arsenal board really want. Arsenal board were ready to blame. Yeah, they were. Arsenal board maybe. Well, maybe it was those involved in the players' recruitment. Right? It could have been. You know, DWTT. It could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been definitely. Arsenal Alex, Arteta came in and took us backwards. Interesting.
Interesting one.
Arteta won the FA Cup with Unai Emery's team. He did. He did. You know, you can't fault that. He did. Essentially won the Champions League is now fired. Arteta will be fired if he managed at most other clubs. It has to work as there's too much time has been invested. But we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll
But again, just to end that whole talk up, but even if I've given not such a very, very fair characterization of Unai Emery this season for Villarreal, Anthony, in
yeah,
10 games, they've put in like about 14 goals. Can you believe that? This
yeah,
season. Yeah, yeah, that's huge. They've considered just seven, so and in his last 6 games, he's won 4 games. That's pretty good, and he
really
has
good.
put
Yeah,
Villarreal in the 7th position in the Spanish La Liga. That's a good position to be at
yeah,
this time.
he's done very
Yeah,
well.
he's done
Done
very
very
well.
well. Right. So on to the next topic. Nottingham Forest. Obviously this weekend. And Luca, Nottingham Forest this weekend. How do you see us both doing in this game? Who do you think is going to play? Arteta's team selection. Who do you think is going to be there? And also, can I have your score predictions on this game as well? Let's start. I'll start off with you, Tim.
With me or Luca?
Yes, I'll start off with you. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, Nottingham Forest, there's nothing new to this. See, they're rooted at the at the bottom of the Premiership. Arsenal shouldn't be careful of this team whatsoever. We should be going down there to Nottingham Forest and slapping these guys, with goals. I want to genuinely see a response from this team, from the collapse, capitulation in the Dutchland. I need to see a response at this time. See, Nottingham Forest have conceded 23 goals. Can you believe that? 23 goals in 12 games.
yeah,
That's
that's the same as their
that's
players, isn't it, Tim?
exactly. That's too shy. That's too shy of Leicester City, who's had the worst goal conceding situation in the Premiership this season. So they're a
Yeah,
poor side, and they have just 9 points to show for it in 12 games. That shows how poor they are this season. They've only scored 8 goals this season. So now the only reason why we're giving them a little bit of credibility is the match against Liverpool. So let's go into that match against Liverpool, and let me show you something that we should be very, very wary of. Now, in that game with Liverpool, because that's the only credibility we're giving to them right now as a team. In terms of facing Arsenal, maybe they might do something. It's that
Yeah.
Liverpool game. Now, in that Liverpool game, Liverpool had a possession. You know, I'm crazy about statistics, right? In that game with Liverpool, 75% ball possession to Liverpool to 25 for them. Now, listen, just check this out. Now, in terms of goal attempts, they had about 10 goal attempts. Nottingham Forest, you can imagine, with 25% ball possession, while Liverpool had 15. Now, in terms of goals, shots on target, 7 to them with 25% of the ball possession to Liverpool 7. What does that tell you? It just shows you that these guys are going to be playing directly at us. So any
Yeah.
chance they get with that little possession, hey, they're ready to score a goal from that situation because they are actually shooting directly with shots on goal. So Arsenal needs to be very, very careful of these people. They come with a game play of a 4-3-3. And mind you, they have one of Arsenal's sworn enemies in Aurier in their back four pairing. He plays from the left back position. Mind you, he played for Tottenham Hotspur. He's an avowed Arsenal hater. So he overlaps quite a lot. So we have to be wary about that. They have Cook and McKenna in the middle, in the heat of their defensive setup. They play a back four, literally. So, of course, that back four is shit. They also have Williams, playing at the right back. And in their 4-3-3 in the midfield, they have Yates and they have Fuller and they have someone who Arsenal should be very, very careful of in Kuyute. Strong, hot battling. He's
Yeah.
a tough guy, very, very tough
Yeah.
guy. And we should be very, very wary of Kuyute because sometimes he could just loop those high balls that Arsenal are very, very wary about and shaky about. He always loops balls, trying to look for the striker called Awoni, the Nigerian who scored against Liverpool. So we should be
Liverpool.
very careful of this guy. And they also have one other guy called Gibbs White. Gibbs White will be running the channels on the left hand side, forming that tripartite kind of striking formation that they have in their
Yeah.
4-3-3, and that will be Gibbs White. And Arsenal should be very careful of the last but not the least guy down there, who is no other person than Lingard. Lingard will be playing on the right hand side of their striking formation in that 4-3-3. We know what he's all about. He hasn't scored this season. Arsenal shouldn't allow him to score his first goal this season over them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Tony, and hopefully we defend those eyeballs. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Luca, what's your views on it, mate?
My thoughts on the Forest game. Look, Forest are no mugs, right? They're unbeaten in 2 games. They've picked up 4 points, right? They got a decent point against Brighton. They beat Liverpool this season. It's going to be a tough game because we're going to go into this game as hot favourites, and we should beat Forest, right? And I do think we will get the 3 points, but it's going to be one of those games where we're going to scrape it. I really do. I really can see it because Forest are going to go into this game unbeaten in 2 games, 4 points, a win for them. Results go their way with other teams around them. They get out the relegation zone, right? And of course, it would be nice to see Leicester do us a favour tomorrow, but I clearly can't see it. But the thing is, this game, whereas it all depends now whether these players are really want it. They really want it because we've known, as I told you at the beginning of the show, right? That the performances. I said this was coming since the Leeds game. I said, and I even said it on my match reaction on my channel for Leeds and Southampton. I said, look, performances are not going our way. We were very lucky to beat Leeds, right, in that game. Could have easily lost that game or drawn that game. Southampton, a draw, dominated the game, got robbed by the referee, and should have had the game in the first half. But Southampton came out with a plan, and it was one of those games where we needed to get out of this game and get on with it. Yeah, PSV at home just scraped the win. Away we lost. performances are starting to. We're not the Arsenal where we're just going batter teams in the first half and get the job done, and that is what I want to see. And I've said this before. Look, Forest for me, right? We got to come out strong and score. If we don't score in the first 20 minutes against Forest, I'm going to be a little bit concerned about this game
Yeah,
because Forest are going to go there and probably even get a point in this game because they know Arsenal, top team, done well in the league, right? Last couple of games, yes, not performing well, but Forest will look into that and think, you know what, let's go to Arsenal and try and upset. Because Forest, for me, when we play at their ground, they always beat us. And they did it with Wenger in the FA Cup 4-2, if you remember,
yeah,
and 1-0 last season at the same ground. So for me, at the Emirates, we've played them a couple of times in cup competitions. I remember we played them in the Carabao Cup in 2019. We beat them 5-0, and we played them. I think we played them again before. So for me, I think we'll beat them, but I really think it's going to be a really tough game. I do, because
yeah.
players are going to look tired. They're going to look. Players have still got to have that mindset for Thursday to top the group, so we don't have an extra playoff game as well when we come up against the likes of Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Leverkusen. All these teams where are a very, very top teams, where some of these teams should still be in Champions League. So I do think we will win this game, but how I think Forest will set out, I think they'll go out and set out and to defend really and try and get us on the break. They've got Lingard, who loves scoring against Arsenal, right? And
Mm.
no, I think we will win the game. I do.
Yeah.
Score prediction, I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, Forest 1.
2-1 Arsenal. Jesus got one of the goal scorers. Are you going to score in this game?
I have a feeling he will score in this game.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus said that he's going to score in this game this week.
But
Mm.
That's what he
what
said.
I want to touch on
So
quickly is about Jesus' performances. Why is he not scoring enough goals? Which I'm starting to get concerned. Yeah, his work rate is brilliant. He's doing everything. But he ain't scoring goals, and that's getting a bit concerning. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
he ain't gonna
I
score the goals.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I think there's I think it's something
We
in the
haven't
link.
brought the wrong striker. I'm just saying
No.
that
Do you
it's
think
just
it's a
goal
link-up
scoring.
play between him and the midfield? I mean, obviously, you think of it. Jesus is up front on his own, and just in behind him is Odegaard, right?
But
Do you
he's
think
not a
there's?
James Maddison or anyone like
Do
that.
you reckon? I think what it
but
is
again,
the
Odegaard has been poor.
He
Odegaard
has.
has been
He's a passenger.
yeah.
poor.
He's like an Ozil.
Yeah.
He has
I
been
mean, is there a
poor.
way that he can? He's not passing. He's not being a provider for Jesus, is he? Like
Yeah,
like slipping him through the
he's
ball,
been
and Jesus is
poor.
in the box where he can get on the end and score a goal. This is what we want to see, but we're not seeing that because with Odegaard, it's like what I said before to you, Tony. I find he drifts, and then when he drifts, Jesus comes back and he's drifting
Yeah,
inside the area, trying to split, break down defense
break
basically
and
and
create
cause gaps
spaces.
for problems. Yeah, but he's working hard in doing that instead of putting the ball in the back of the net. You know what I'm saying? So and this is the mix up between there.
Yeah,
I just feel like if we just had that proper creative midfielder, like
And
a number
Maddison.
10, like a Burkamp or someone like that. Do you know what I'm saying? That can actually provide him
yeah.
the ball so he
Provided.
can go on and do.
And
But
Like a
mind you, this
Maddison.
and mind you, this guy is legitimately coming from a team that he doesn't have to do all those run around, all those running through the channels, coming through the
Yeah,
left, cutting in, taking the balls, running through. He doesn't
Frank,
have to
yeah,
do all that stuff. He has people to do that for him. He had a Grealish to do that for him. He had a
yeah,
Sterling to actually do that for him. And even from the right hand side, Bernardo Silva was there to chip in those balls for him. But I'm sorry, at Arsenal, we don't just have it. Arsenal needs those kind of players that can actually grab it by the scruff of the neck. And Odegaard right now, and unfortunately, right now is our captain. He has to play because what message would that send to the
But
whole
why is it
players to the
every
dressing
time?
room when your captain isn't playing? So he's a key player. He has to play, and he needs to bring in the goods.
But
And right
why is it
now, the
every time
player
that
that we
when
have
we have
as
a
a
player,
backup, who is Vieira, isn't actually knocking on the door quite well right
Yeah,
now. And that's because there's a catch to it. It's his first season in the
give him
Premiership.
a chance. Yeah, yeah. Well, anyways,
But why is it?
Matt's got this one. Is he reckons off fourth on the high after beating Liverpool last game. Obviously, they are going to be on the high, and they're going to go into the Arsenal game positive. And obviously expecting to beat us is what they did Liverpool. So, I can understand
But why
why
is it
Matt's
right?
put
I want
that.
to make a very good point before you read the comment. Right? Is why is it that every single time that when we sign players like an Odegaard type, but we never get a player like a James Maddison quality, right? Why is it every time that we get a captain, right, but doesn't do well, right? Before Granit Xhaka had this, is doing very well. He's having a great season at the moment. When he was captain, right, and when Granit Xhaka was when Arteta put him in his right position for this season, then why is it that every time when we've had a captain recently that doesn't produce well, look at Martin Odegaard, he's supposed to come in and score the goals, right?
Mm.
Why is it that we don't have a proper midfielder? Why is it that every time when we bring a captain, we don't actually have to have the actual player where a player we do think needs to strengthen? When's the last time
Yeah,
we had a proper like that? Fabregas? Someone like that?
yeah,
Ozil in his prime? Why is it that we're not having people like that? That is why we
mm,
need. If Odegaard doesn't start producing performances on the look, he's a good player, right? And I like him, but for me, he's not cutting it every single week. What fans want to see, and that is why if he's not doing that, I think we
yeah.
And,
should get rid
and
of
that
him. I
answers your
think maybe get
question,
rid of him and get James
DWTT.
Madison in.
I was waiting for Tony. He was there.
DWTT, Luca just answered your question. He just gave you a good answer, a valid answer
Yeah,
to that question you raised down there. Yeah, he gave Jesus some passes, but see, Arsenal Football Club is bigger than just putting up performances to just give two passes. We need three passes. We need four passes. We need a shot on goal. We need legitimate shots that will produce goals actually from Odegaard. It shouldn't
yeah.
just be passes. So I,
And he
I don't
sees,
know. Could be
yeah, he
interpreted
sees
in
there.
different
Look at our
ways.
past matches. We've had our chances. Our scores are getting opportunities.
True, true,
Yeah.
true. Then if we're dissecting that, then Martinelli has to come in for lots of criticisms too.
You got Ravi.
But
Ravi's in the
part of
chat
it.
thinking Arsenal will win 1-0. He's going for a 1-0 win. And he's also saying Liverpool will win 2-0. Boy, bath time with Bourne. Bath time. Welcome to the channel, mate. I think you
Bad
may have been
time, big
before,
ups.
but big up there. He's saying, please sack yourself, lads. Why? I don't think he loves Arteta. Really. He's a Man United fan, but he loves him really. And it says, Ravi says, Arteta needs to see in January if this would hold up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Ravi, that's just
James,
the only option. Let's wait till January.
yeah. So, did you give your score prediction, mate, for the Arsenal
I
Forest game?
wanted to escape that, but thought that Luca would just take the heat alone when it comes. But okay, yeah. See, yeah, I don't really see Nottingham Forest as a team that would create lots of chances and score them.
Yeah.
They've shipped in lots of goals, and mind you, that centre back pairing with McKennie and Cook, it's nothing to write home about. It's shit, basically. So I think
Yeah.
Arsenal will
Yeah.
have a field day 3-0 to the Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal. Do you know
Yeah,
what? That's my scoreline. I said 3-0 to Arsenal.
yeah, they'll bounce
But
back.
Jesus scoring a goal or maybe two in your 3-0 prediction?
Yeah. He promised that he was going to score. So if I were you, I'll take it with a pinch of salt. But I really do think he would score tomorrow on Sunday. Sorry, my
Yeah.
mind just tells me he would nick one in. And mind you, if a player is very determined to score against that Nottingham Forest team, you will score. And if you
Yeah.
even check that Liverpool game, they had chances to score lots of times.
Yeah.
They were not just scoring. So if Arsenal
No.
can at least take those chances, they will get
Yeah.
goals. Goals will come.
Well, Time says we we got to get rid of our satellite boys. It's taking the piss having Arsenal top of the table. He's joking with that one. And then DWTT says comparing Odegaard to Fabregas and Ozil. What Odegaard is still young, and he's captain material as well. Time then goes on to say Forest would try and bully you lads. Physically, I wouldn't take them lightly. No, well. I did say 3-0, and Tony said 3-0 in our predictions, but we can't take him on in there. And Ravi says Arsenal have more quality, not to be silly these days. It's true. It's true.
Sure.
And Matt says at bath time with Vaughan, I agree. Painful to see that out loud. What do they do? They're Man United fans.
But seriously, we should be winning this game.
Yeah,
See,
we should be. It's a
if
game for us
Arsenal,
to win, and
we
we've got.
should be win. Luca, we should be winning this
If we
game.
don't win this game,
It's a
look,
no-brainer.
if
We
we
should
don't
be
win this
careful with our
game,
words.
right?
We should be winning these games.
Tony, if we don't win this game, right, then all these people saying about, oh, we were title contenders, I'm gonna start getting really panicking, right? If we lose this game, it will really start to concern. Be like, everyone's saying Arsenal have got a good chance, but suddenly everyone's going to start flip flopping and start changing their mind, thinking, you know what, I'm starting to get worried now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads, I've got a butt in. I think we've come to the end of the show. We've been going for an hour and a half.
Okay,
Last week there wasn't no Gunner Small Corners last weck because I had to attend somewhere and be somewhere, so obviously I couldn't stream last week.
I think it was Steven. Steven told me that you wanted me here. That was odd because normally you're my friend and of course you're a member of my channel too. So you always tell me things directly. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So when nothing came up, I was quite surprised, So
yeah, no,
okay.
I had to go somewhere. I had I had a funeral to go to last week, so it was my uncle. So it was that. So I couldn't do it. So that's the reason why I most probably let this show go on longer than what I did because we didn't stream last week. It's gone for an hour and a half now, just over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that's it. So basically Tony, do you want to shout out your social and your give your channel a shout out so where everybody can find you?
Shout out to King, Football United TV. Big ups to you. You've always invited me to this show, and thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity. To come chop it up with my very, very good friend Anthony. Apart from you, Football United TV, Anthony, you've been a very, very great friend to me. Thank you very much, and God bless you, my brother. I hope our friendship will keep growing as it is.
It will do. Definitely will do. Yeah.
Luca, of course, thanks, man. Me and Luca's channel are also in a partnership in a way. At least we always, like each other's stuff in a way. Luca, thanks for tolerating me here. I know I talk too much in a way, but thanks for tolerating me. Anthony has learned how to tolerate me, so
we learn it. We learn to stream things on.
So see, my channel is just simple. See, I run an Arsenal fan TV channel.
Yeah.
See, I'm positive most times, but see, I don't care when it comes to criticizing. When criticism, constructive ones, need to be given to the club and our performance, I dish it out like squarely. That's me. So if you like Gunner's content like that, catch me on Tony Cole Gunner TV on YouTube. I also have an Instagram account where I talk everything Arsenal and where I make fun of other teams that try to make fun on us. About us, Arsenal. So you can catch me also there, and Tony Cloud Gunner TV. You can also catch me. You can also catch me on Twitter, also on Tony Cloud Gunner. Yeah. So just check me out. Anthony, do come to my channel. to talk
Yeah,
with
I'll
me
definitely come.
sometimes.
I've been on there
And
before with
he's
you as
been there
well, though.
once. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've been there
exactly.
once. I've been busy at the
Yeah,
minute, but I'm trying to get sort of, if I got
sure,
time and that,
sure.
obviously I'll always pop on saying, you
Definitely.
know that, mate.
I've had a show, a legendary show with Luca. It was a good one. I'm itching to go back to his channel,
Yeah,
and have a showdown with him and his channel again. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to having him on my show too. I don't know, we've just been with the timing, but he should come to my show very soon. So catch him up
yeah,
on Tony Club Gunner TV. And big shout out to you guys. You guys are doing a great job here. It's nice to see all the subscribers and the comments coming out down
yeah,
here. God bless you guys. Keep coming to this channel, and we love you guys here. I'll keep
yeah, that'd
coming,
be good. Yeah,
but please keep supporting this channel. It's very important.
cheers, Ting. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, mate. And Luca, where can people find you, mate?
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Luca A.F.C. Yes, I haven't really been posting quite a lot of content because I've been really quite busy, but we are back with the content next week. We are planning to do an FC Zurich and Chelsea preview and match reactions as well. So that's what's going to be coming up on the channel. I'm going to set some streams up for next week. But no, subscribe to my channel, Luca AFC. Anyone's more than welcome to come on the channel and have a collaboration with me, and we can do a show together. Doesn't have to be about Arsenal. We could talk about elsewhere. Talk about any other clubs you support. But no, we are trying to get to 2.5K, and if we can get that, it can be done. But no, thank you very much for inviting me on.
That's right, Luca. Anytime, mate. You're welcome anytime to come on, mate.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Just going to finish off the last few comments here. It says Nketiah needs to chip in with more goals. Definitely, I do agree with that. If you don't buy a ticket, then you don't win the raffle. True. And Corey, Luca, bath time watching.
Shout out Bath Time. Shout out
Corby,
Bath Time
mate,
with
I'm not being
Vaughn.
funny,
Shout
but
out to you.
mate,
Shout out to Ravi also.
Corby,
Niall,
Corby,
shout out
Corby,
to you,
Corby.
brother.
We know what bath time's
Shout out
like.
to
We
you,
know what
though.
it's like. Yeah.
Luca
Luca
got
got
bed.
bedtime. Luca got
Yeah.
bedtime hair. Was Matt?
Luca. They care about
And
your hair.
Niles in the
Big up,
They do,
Niles
mate.
in
It's
the
great.
house
It's
as
Niall.
back.
well.
God bless you,
Big up,
Niall.
Niles.
Niall. God bless you, man.
Get the lads some David Beckham real cream. And Matt says, great show, guys. And then bath
Thank you,
time.
man.
I think it's all true. What's
Jesus.
too short. And then Matt says, thanks for viewing all. Smash the like. And yeah, just smash the like. And obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new. There was one or two new ones in there, but I hope you enjoyed the show. There's 7 watching. Just smash that like, yeah. And
Smash that
also,
like.
bath time, we're going to end on bath time. Question to you, Luca. Do you want to read that out, mate?
Let me read it 1 second.
He's telling us.
Stop talking over about Corby stuff, mate. Hold on, yeah. And I hope you are watching this and listening to this, right? This is what happened. Right, we had lockdown a couple of years ago. I went to Corby, right?
Yeah.
And this is where it started getting so obsessed. I went to Corby, right, and I did a rating about it, right, and I rated the place out of 10, and I didn't rate the place, and this guy wants me to go to Stockton
I'm
on Tree.
watching, Luca.
This guy wants me to go Stockton on Trees, which is near like Middlesbrough, York area.
Yeah.
And that's it, really.
Oh, right. Okay. All the best. God bless. Yeah. Bye, happy. And
I'm
bath time
watching,
season's
Luca.
watching.
Well, that's good that you're watching. You're showing commitment to the channel, then.
Yeah.
Sure.
And DWTT says, good show.
DWTT.
Big
Big
up,
ups
man.
to you, my brother.
You too, mate. And bath time, we're gonna you're gonna diss my time again.
And guys, please join us same time next week on Friday.
Bath time.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm gonna be here, but please join Anthony and his guests that's coming up. Please, please try and always join us, guys. Please,
Yeah,
really
yeah, we're
need you
just
on
gonna
this
try and
channel,
do
please.
that and get some guests on and that sort of thing. And try and give you good stuff and good content. That's the aim. So and that's it. What I want to say to everybody is thank you for watching, and
Thank you.
enjoy your weekend. And
Enjoy your weekend. Come on, you Gunners. Let's go do it
yes, come
against
on, you Gunners.
Nottingham Forest. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners. I'll see you later. Bye.
I think we're still
Background.
on.
No, that's the background. It's my fault.